days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show, everyone. Ready to get into this mock draft 2.0. If you didn't see mock draft 1.0, you can go back and check that out. It's for channel members and patrons. So if you're a channel member, go watch it. Freddie McDre was in with me the entire time last time. So what's up to everyone in chat, though? I see a big crew. Freddie McDre, Spy Danger, what's up? Paul's in the house. How's it going? Donald, what's up? It's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to this. And Nizi Ramirez, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Nizi, but I'm really excited to have you in chat as well. And Paul says, got my draft numbers written down. I got the numbers that corresponds to the values. I'm ready. I like that a lot. And this is going to be a fun one. I'm going to kind of go off how it plays out. I'm going to use a different one that I used before. I used PFN last time. This time I'm going to use the NFL mock draft database. Just get an idea of how they're valuing players. Of course, I'm not going to pay too much attention to it because I want to go ahead and get the guys that I believe fit the 49ers scheme, and also are guys that I could see them, correspondingly drafting because of the way they go about interviews. And I think a lot of times the interviews of who they're meeting with don't always just dictate which players they want to potentially draft, but the type of player and position at which they're going to get. So there's been a lot of that, and I'm going to kind of try to take all that into account when we go into this. That way we can make the best possible draft, and how John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan would address this draft. So I'm looking forward to it a lot, and we're going to get into this. We're going to discuss all of it. I've already mocked through the first 2 rounds. I'm into the 3rd round, about the 70 pick wise, and I thought we'd let it go through there. That way you guys didn't have to see it going through the entire thing. But chime in as well. Let me know what you guys think when we get into this mock draft as we go through these players. And you can see here we are here. We got it all set up now. The mock draft is good to go here. I'm going to bring it up. Boom. And we're in the area now. So as you can see, it's kind of cool because you can see the picks and the values over here to the side, which I really like. So you can see who they draft, keep them here, and then you could kind of punch in needs as it goes forth. Lots of these mock draft simulators have the 49ers having different needs than potentially what they actually have. So I think that's something to take into account as well. And I'm going to try to keep track of the chat as we go through. We're going to see who's available at 99. Should we let it roll? I wanted to kind of see who was available on the board here. We still got some speed. I don't know if I really want to trade up for any of these guys. I haven't been a huge trade up person. That hasn't something I've been willing to do so far as trading. So right now I see a lot of really good players here on the list. So we'll let it roll to 99. I'm not a huge proponent of trading up, even though I know a lot of people would love to trade up for, an offensive tackle. We see Jaelyn Duncan is the best possible tackle according to them listed. You see Wanya Morris here. He's pretty good. Ryan Hayes has been somebody that I've been a fan of. And then I'm sure if you listen to any 49ers content creators, you've heard about Nick Saldiveri. So those are guys all. I do like Jaelyn Duncan. I don't like trading up for Jaelyn Duncan. So if he was there at 99 through 102, I think we'd talk about it. Even though with John Lynch's recent comments, I'm not sure the 49ers are in the right tackle market as far as trying to find someone, that could potentially start. So I think that we'll remember that as well as we go through there. And we're seeing people say take Dell. We'll see if Tank is there when we get there. And what's up, Forktall? How's it going? So we'll see what happens when we get to the right spot here at 99 and see who's available. So I'm going to go ahead and go all, and then I'm going to let this thing run. We're going to run it to 99, and we'll see who's available when we get to 99. Seeing good players going off the board here. But I think it's to be expected. Nathaniel Tank Dell just went. So here we are at 99. We've been offered a trade. I'm going to reject that one. No good. These are all for picks next year. No thanks. 118 and 193. I don't see the value at 118 compared to 99. I'm out on that. The Browns coming with a better trade, 111, 142. I still want to get a lot of value here at 99. I'm not willing to trade back. I'm not willing to go all the way back there. Now, here's one that's interesting. How realistic, I'm not sure. But the Raiders want to go up, and they want to get they want to go up one spot, and they want to give us 144 and 204, and then 2 picks next year. That trade is pretty ridiculous to go up one spot. So just for realism, I'm gonna reject it, even though I don't think anyone would turn this down. But I don't think realistically this is a legitimate trade that the 49ers would make, and I think you all would agree with me. So let's go ahead and reject that. So here we are on the clock. We've got Chris Smith, the safety out of Georgia, good, solid player. DJ Turner out of Michigan. Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. I don't know if we want to go wide receiver right now, though. I mean, this might be a little high for a wide receiver. See the running backs there. Darius Rush, the cornerback. Byron Young, the edge from Tennessee. So Jalen Jones, cornerback, Texas A&M. I've seen him mocked a lot as well. So those are all potential guys the 49ers could go after. Let's see. I want to see what the edge rusher department looks like, because I think the 49ers could potentially go edge rusher. There's just so much value there. So Byron Young, edge from Tennessee. Isaiah McGuire, KJ Henry, Dylan Horton, Yaya Diaby. I think that might be a little high for Yaya Diaby. My guy is already gone. They like him a lot on this one. So my guy at Ohio State is gone. So we're not going to be able to go there. So the question is, which edge will we go for? We can take a look at the offensive tackles. Wanya Morris is still available. So he's a possibility. I think these guys would be a reach. Let's see what's at safety. Smith, Jair Brown, both possible. Those are both good. If we went safety, I think those would be a good possibility. I think all those guys make a lot of sense. As far as wide receiver, Tillman is, of course, one of the better players. Xavier Hutchinson. I do like wide receivers later. I like Jonathan Mingo. He's a guy that's been very high on my board. So to me, those are all guys that potentially make sense. Cornerback DJ Turner was still available. Kai Blue Kelly, I like a lot as well. And then, of course, a lot of people love Darius Rush. I think all three of those guys are huge value right here at pick 99. And I think that's what we're really trying to get, is all that value. And so I want to kind of see what all of you are thinking about this pick overall. Yeah, that's the thing. Jamie's gone too. I'm going to flip back to this. There's a lot of guys who are potentially, unavailable right now. So let's see what everyone is saying. I want to make sure. What's up, Ziggy? How's it going? I see a lot of people jumping in. Jay Ellie. Yeah, DJ Turner, Jalen Duncan, and 3 Jamie Robinson that I can remember. That's a pretty good one. No trades this time, Jay Ellie says. I'm trying to keep it real. Yeah, Tank Dell's gone. Let's see. Paul says Byron Young just seemed like the one-trick pony. Bull Rush. You didn't have any good hands-on film. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him either. Forco says, Ant, do you take a tight end in the 3rd? I don't think the same value there in the 5th. I think it all depends. Yeah, Nathan is saying draft Chris Smith. So potentially, that could be a way we go with Chris Smith. I think that there's not a consensus here. We do have 3 picks in the category, so I think that's the right way to go. So we'll see what happens here. I think we did get a super chat in right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and look at the super chat real quick. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of guys. Super chat from Daryl says, "Hi Ant, this should be a lot of fun." Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it. Luke is saying that Chris Smith is the best value. He could be. I mean, I think that's kind of where we're looking. We're looking like that might be a lot of value. So let's go ahead and look at this roster. Chris Smith, the safety, provides a lot of ability there. I like him. I like DJ Turner. To me, those are a lot of value. I don't see an edge that I'm like loving at 99. Let's go. Let's take Chris Smith, the safety out of Georgia. He can come and work and potentially work his way into a starting position in 2024. Let's do it. Chris Smith, the first pick. They give us an A+ for that. And just like that, we're right back on the clock for pick 101. So we still have guys that we can get now. Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver, DJ Turner, if we wanted to go secondary again, Blue Kelly, DeMarvion Overshown I like, but I don't think the Niners go linebacker this high. We're getting back to Byron Young, Jair Brown. We don't have to go safety anymore. Jalen Jones, the cornerback. I think I like DJ Turner better. Carl Brooks, defensive lineman from Bowling Green, I like a lot. Played defensive end a lot at Bowling Green, but I think he's got a tremendous amount of value. I've seen him go as high as the second round in some mock drafts. I like him to play the 3 tech for the 49ers, so I would definitely be willing to go with Carl Brooks. I like Isaiah McGuire as well. This is one of those times where I wish we would have had a trade back option, because I see some of these guys in this area that I would be willing to trade back and get. I just like the value there. But Carl Brooks is somebody that stands out to me as a player that I'd be willing to take a chance on and go get. But there's still a lot of these ability guys with DJ Turner. I like him a lot too. So curious what everyone is thinking here. Let's hop back over to chat and see what everyone is thinking about, who we should go with next, because I want to make sure we're all kind of on the same category and thinking about the same things. Wanya Morris in a corner. Lots of people are wanting cornerbacks. So Wanya Morris is a good player. I do like Wanya Morris. I think he would make sense. Great one says Carl Brooks. That's what Lou's saying. Defensive tackle. I love Carl Brooks a lot. So the question marks is, do we want to go Carl Brooks? Yeah, I mean, I know we can trade. I'm trying not to do too much trades. Great one. I wanted them to offer it. So this is the NFL mock draft database simulator. It's one I've been trying to do and use. It's a little bit different from some of the other ones like PFF and PFN to give us a little bit different. Forktal says DJ's 4.2 speed is rare. I like that. So yeah, I mean, potentially we got offensive tackle Wanya Morris. I think that's a good one. Carl Brooks, and then we got DJ Turner. Turner's speed and ability might be very, very hard to pass up on. So I mean, it might be one of those things where we just can't pass up on the chance to draft a really good player. But if we do that, then we have to make a decision. Do we miss the offensive tackle Wanya Morris, or do we miss out on Carl Brooks? Because our chances of getting both are probably not very good. So to me, we have to make a decision here. Is Turner too much of a great draft choice to pass up on? You potentially are going to have, some decisions to make down the road. Man, this one's tough. Guys, we're having a tough one right here with the decision between Turner and Brooks, in my opinion. Even though I know a lot of people are saying, hey, take the offensive tackle, Wanya Morris. Let me see where Wanya Morris is figuring out on here. The problem is Wanya Morris is by far the best tackle available for a long stretch, because this is where I think the next best tackle is out of the guys available. So if we're getting an offensive tackle that's going to be able to come in and compete with the other guys, I think it is Wanya Morris. I do believe I can get, even though I love Carl Brooks, I do believe we can draft a kind of a poor man's version later on that could, in a year or two, be able to compete. We don't really need interior guys right now. So, I mean, maybe that's the kind of direction we go. What are you guys thinking? Do we need let's get a consensus here. I want to get a consensus from everyone on what they want to do with this spot. Let's see. Other offensive tackle. We need help in the secondary, and we have the next 2 picks. Take them both. Interesting. So, people are saying go Turner. Others are saying go Wanya Morris. All right. So let's have some fun with this thing, and let's wait on Carl Brooks. Let's go. I want to make sure we get the best possible player available. So I'm going to go with DJ Turner. I think I'm going to get him first. And then with that next pick, I'll take Wanya Morris at 102 minus getting offered a trade. I don't really want to go make a trade. I just want to be offered a trade, and we'll see what happens. So DJ Turner is going to be a San Francisco 49ers. Here's what I'm talking about here. So we can move down one spot and pick up picks for later. Let's see. Want to see what the other trade is. 115, 146. So we can move back a little bit. Would we lose Wanya Morris? Potentially. I don't really want to lose Wanya Morris. But, I'm trying to find a way. Could I get Wanya Morris at 115? 146 wouldn't help me be able to get anyone else. So I'm going to reject it. I'm going to reject 103, even though, once again, just an unrealistic pick. Moving up one spot, picking up a 5 and a 7 in 2024. So I'm going to reject that for realism reasons, because I don't want to have any problems with that. But I think we've all decided, right? Let's go offensive tackle. Wanya Morris, very talented guy. And let's lock it in. And now we've got two guys that we really like here, knowing that we can balance out the defensive line later with other moves. So Wanya Morris is the pick. Now we're going to go through. It's going to go through several guys. You're going to see guys going off the board that we really like here. But the next time the 49ers are going to pick is 155. What is everyone's feelings on 155? Really curious what everyone's thinking as we went Wanya Morris and we went DJ Turner. So we took care of the secondary with the first two picks. I like McClendon. I really do. Yeah, we can go other defensive tackles as well. Lots of people like the Wanya Morris pick. JLE said we can wait on cornerback. We could have waited on cornerback. It's just how much did the value matter at that point? I think there was a lot of value there. I don't think it definitely wasn't a need, right? You have needs and then you have upgrade positions. So those are ones you could go. Freddie loved the Morris pick. Great one said Kobe Turner and Fiocco. Yeah, Fiocco is going to be a fun one that we'll see. So let's go back and let's see who's available. And if we get any trade offers, which of course we did get some trade offers, 155 for 204, not gonna happen. 155, so dropping back 10 and picking up a 6 the next year, not interested. All right, so let's see. What other positions do we still have to address? We don't really have to address offensive tackle. Carl Brooks just fell. We got lucky and Carl Brooks is available at 155. We could get Carl Brooks, the defensive tackle. You still have edge rushers like Isaiah McGuire. There's a lot of guys here available that we could go for. We got a corner. We don't have to get it. So, this might be best case scenario. Zach Kuntz, now we're going to start getting into those tight ends. I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback after Kyle Shanahan's comments today. Braden Daniels, an interior offensive lineman. Like him, not high on going that way. I want to address a couple of positions. I think edge rusher, interior defensive line are definitely on there as needs. We got safety, we got corner, we got offensive tackle. I think so far we've done a pretty good job. And now that we're sitting here and Carl Brooks is available, I'm very, very tempted to go with Carl Brooks. What is everyone thinking about Carl Brooks? Is that somewhere where we would like to go? A guy that could, definitely be in the 3-tech rotation and make an impact for the 49ers. Forktal says, long time saying tight end. Lou saying tight end. Freddie McDray says, edge, Brooks. Great one saying Carl. There you go. Take Brooks. Tight end, defensive tackle, wide receivers. What JLE saying are the needs. Forktal saying tight end. So let's go back and let's look at the tight ends before we decide to go with Carl Brooks. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very tempted because I do love Carl Brooks. I think he's a big-time player. So we're going to be picking again in 9 spots. We have Zach Kuntz, Payne Durham, Cameron Latou, Davis Allen, Will Mallory, who we know is one of my guys. I love him. Noah Gindorf, Braden Willis, Blake Whitehart's another one of my guys, kind of flying under the radar of possibilities. There's KNDR's guy, Travis Vokalek. So there's a lot of guys available at tight end. I think we have guys we like. I think most of us like Kuntz and Durham. Durham lacks a little bit of speed, but he makes up for it in the way he uses his size, also his blocking ability. Davis Allen has been getting a lot of props lately. Will Mallory, of course, if you have me on Patreon, you know he's one of my star players. I haven't done a breakdown on him, but it's coming. He's one I really like a lot. Braden Willis is a very, very solid player from Oklahoma. So to me, we could wait on tight end because there's 4 guys that we like there, and get them at 164 or 173 and take Carl Brooks right now, who is probably the best available player on the board. So I mean, I think that's where I want to go because it just makes the most sense to me. But of course, I'm a man of the people, so I want to see what everyone else says. I'm gonna end up making the decision, but I just want to see what everyone said. How about them Niners? Says Brooks. We did a lot of free agency on D-line already. Tight end is really deep class. Take Mallory later. I like those as well. Frank says a kicker. No kicker yet for sure. So, I mean, yeah, JL saying Payne or Blake. Those are very good possibilities. I'm going to do it. I think I'm really going to take Carl Brooks right here. I can't pass up. I know we addressed defensive line, but I'm telling you guys, Carl Brooks is a special talent. A guy that played on the edge, has a lot of lateral quickness, has a very good, set of moves. If he's here at this spot, he can move into the 3-tech, 6'4", 305 pounds. He could be in the rotation in year 1. And we're talking about him and Kalia Davis in a couple of years being absolutely dynamic for this 49ers team, as they'll have to somewhat translate out of the high-paid guys in the interior defensive line. Looking towards the future here, this is not a need. This is a luxury pick. But when a player this good, I would have a 3rd-round grade on him, is sitting here at this position in the 5th round, I'm going to take Carl Brooks, and then we'll see how it falls, and we'll look at tight end with the next pick. So let's see who will be available. All right, so here we go. Isaiah McGuire just went. I'm going to reject the Giants trade. Not really interested. The Rams are about to offer their entire draft class. Look at this, 167. Would never happen for them to come up, to move up a few spots. So no, I'm not. I'm going to reject that. This one is to go up 1 spot for the Saints, and they're giving a round 5, round 6. That's a ton of value to go up 1 spot. Unrealistic. It's out of here. So I'm not feeling those. So here we are now. Everyone was talking tight end. So let's go ahead and look and see who the tight ends still are. We've got Zach Kuntz still there. Payne Durham. Guess what? All the tight ends are still there. So we can address tight end. So if you want tight end, let me know which tight end you prefer out of the players that are available. And I'd probably stay, up here to the top 5 guys. Kuntz, Durham, I would say Davis Allen, Will Mallory, Gindorf as well. Let me know out of those guys who you'd be willing to take. We can take another tight end later on in this draft. We still have plenty of picks. And let's just go overall too. Let's see who else is available. Owen Popo available. I was watching him yesterday, actually. Mike Morris, I think he's another guy that went inside, but we took Carl Brooks. We don't need him. Jacorian Bennett I like, but we addressed corner already with DJ Turner. I don't think Ivan Pace fits the system. Deuce Vaughn's exciting, but let's see. I mean, really, when I'm looking at this, I think tight end's going to be a place to go. I do like the edge, DJ Johnson. We haven't went there yet, but we could go with that at 173 because we will need to take an edge rusher here pretty soon, but there are some still available. Let's look at the edge real quick. We got Dylan Horton still available. That's a good one. I like DJ Johnson more than Yaya Diaby. Thomas Incoom, who I'm a fan of. I think he's good. So there's some guys. There's Fiocco we can get later. There's some very talented players that are still going to be available off the edge, but we are starting to get to that point where you're losing value at the edge. But DJ Johnson's one of those guys that's absolutely incredibly fast that we can pick up. So let's go back. Let's see what everyone's saying. I want to make sure, that I get this. I want to get this right. So I want to make sure I check out what everyone's saying, and don't rush this decision. I see Mallory, but not now from the great one. Kuntz from Bebop Jones. Go wide receiver now. Ooh, that's a possibility. We need edge if there's any available. Wide receiver from great one. So let's go back and let's see which wide receivers, are potentially available for the San Francisco 49ers. Maybe there is one of these guys that we want to go with at the wide receiver room. I'm not against that. Let's see. Wide receiver. There's my guy, Jonathan Mingo. I like Jonathan Mingo a lot. I think that the 49ers, the way that they've been interviewing guys that either fit what Ray McCloud does or fit what Jawan Jennings does. I think Jonathan Mingo does that at a high level. So the question is, do we go tight end? I think tight end right now with one of these guys here. We could probably get Mallory at 173. These guys might be available at 173. Do we go Jonathan Mingo right now? I like Mingo a lot. Let's see who else is available. That really fits what the 49ers are trying to do, or guys that they've met with. Demario Douglas, but you can see he's 269. That's way later. DJ Johnson from East Carolina, but he's got some speed questions. He's a lot like Jawan Jennings. He ran a 4.7. So I think there's a lot of guys, Joseph Nagata, this guy, I watched him play since he was in high school when he was at Folsom. Nico Remigio, I like this guy a lot, but as you can see, we don't have to draft him right now. So I like him a lot at Fresno State. So, I'm kind of in the ballpark of Mingo. They met with Mingo. They met with Ronnie Bell. Those guys, or one of the tight ends in this situation. Let's go ahead and let's see what everyone says about it so we can make the pick and get this thing locked up. I'm excited about who the 49ers are going to take here. Mingo or Mallory. Ford Wheaton is a wide receiver I'm watching for. Mingo, long time says speedy wide receiver. Well, long time. How would 4.46 at 225 pounds be? Because that's what Jonathan Mingo does. JLE, Donald Johnson, everyone's saying Mingo. I like it as well. So I think we're gonna go Jonathan Mingo with pick 164, and we're gonna get a guy that we can count on in the future. Potentially, if Jawan Jennings ends up leaving or they have to trade him, they could get Jonathan Mingo. He's a crazy good blocker. He's 6'2", 225, runs a 4.46, very athletic, needs to get a little bit better on the route running, but which Kyle Shanahan wide receiver doesn't need to get better, but he plays physical. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite receivers in the entire draft. Jonathan Mingo, 164. And let's see who's available now. And we could go tight end. Reject this terrible trade offer. Once again, the Rams are offering everything. 177, 189, 223, 251. Too much for 4 slots. This one would be more realistic with 2 6th-round picks for a 5th from the Patriots. But I don't really want to move back 11 spots because I have players on the board I like. So I'm going to reject that. I reject that from the Cardinals. So as right now, we got a safety, Chris Smith at 99. We got cornerback DJ Turner from Michigan at 101. Those were highly decorated players that slipped and fell. Wanya Morris was there at 102. We went and got him. There was what we felt was a deep distance between him and the other tackles that were remaining, so we went ahead and got him. Carl Brooks was just too much value at 155, so we took him. And now Jonathan Mingo, we got another wide receiver, and we're preparing for if Jawan Jennings ends up moving on. So yeah, that was a good one. And so as far as needs go, edge rusher is still a need, right? Tight end potentially a need. So let's look at edge and see who's there. We got Dylan Horton, very solid. DJ Johnson, who I like here. Those guys are both available. Nick Hampton's got speed off the edge. Thomas Nkoum, I like. So those guys would make sense. And then here's Valimia Fiocco. He's available later on. So those guys are all possibilities. And then we can go back to the tight end room, and we could see that these tight ends are hanging on. Everyone is still available. So I'm really glad we didn't go tight end at 155 because there are just so many guys, that are available for the 49ers. It's really, really interesting how many guys are tight ends are just hanging there. Lots of guys wanted to take the trade. I decided not to. Sorry, guys. I decided not to go that. Donald says that sounds like the Rams mortgage their future. Very true. So people are saying Yaya. Luke, the Don says we need a tight end and a center. I think a tight end makes sense. I think edge. Yeah, Papa says edge, speed, and bend. Ooh, yeah, exactly. If you're going to get a guy, right, edge, speed, and bend, you're probably looking for somebody. So let me go back to it here so we can make sure we're looking at the right thing. So let's go to edge. And I think at this point, athletically, crazy athlete, Yaya Diaby. DJ Jones has the speed and bend off the edge. Nick Hampton has it as well. I do worry about him as far as being big enough. He looks more like an outside linebacker in a 3-4. With Thomas and Coombe, and Brenton Cox, what you worry about overall is size. Neither one of them are very tall with long arms, but both of them do a very good job here in this area. It's very tempting to go with the guy that is going to bring speed off the edge. So I think DJ Johnson is someone we could go. To me, one of the tight ends are going to make it to 216. I don't think every single tight end that we like is going to be gone, especially with some of the guys that are available late. There's going to be a lot of guys that potentially, and there's guys that aren't even on this list that the 49ers could end up getting later on. I do like Daniel Barker down there at the end, the Michigan State tight end, but he's way down there. So let's see. I mean, what do you guys want to do? Tight end or edge rusher? I would say DJ Johnson would be the guy that I would be the most interested in getting from that position, because I think he's somebody that I've put kind of a star on. And what's up, Randy? How's it going? Freddie saying Mallory. And then Great One saying go Yaya, then Mallory, the next pick. Izzy saying Riley Moss is the best corner in the draft. Hope Niners get him. Lots of people do like him. Luke says Brendel's deal is for 2 years guaranteed, then becomes a 2 year. Yeah, 2 years. So center's a possibility, but they do have Nick Zakel. They can keep going. Jay Ellie saying go Payne. Big Papa saying go Johnson. Ooh, I like it. We got guys, Great One saying Yaya. So we've got, some saying edge rush. Donald saying DJ Johnson. Some edge rush. Jay Ellie's wanting to go Payne Durham, the tight end. I think there's so many guys still available at the tight end. I do like Payne Durham. I have this weird feeling, though, that he may be available for the 49ers at 216. I mean, I really do. I think he may be available for the 49ers at 216. So, I think I'm going to go with the edge. I like DJ Johnson. I think I'm going to go with DJ Johnson here and see how it plays out. But I like the speed off the edge, the quickness, the ability. With the way they're going to have Hargrave and, and the guys inside that could get a push, Armstead. I think you're going to need guys that can collapse from the outside. I think DJ Johnson's one of those guys. Boom, there goes DJ Johnson. Well, let's see what happens with this tight end room. I think this is something we're all interested in. Payne Durham is still available. Will he be available when we get to 216? If he is, JLE will probably get his wish, and we could go Payne Durham. He's gone. So we took a chance. It didn't work. So now we'll see which tight ends are going to be left. We are going to have a good set of tight ends here available. We have, of course, Davis Allen is still available. We did lose. It looks like we lost Will Mallory as well, so that hurt. So Davis Allen, Noah Gendorf, Braden Willis are all available. So that one kind of stung. We took our chance, went edge rusher, and missed out on potentially getting, one of the tight ends we wanted. There was a run on tight ends there at the end of the movement there. Let me see if I can go back and see. There we go. I want to go back and see kind of where those guys went. You see Latu there. Daryl Lutter, who they met with, a cornerback, he went. There goes Durham. He went to Jacksonville. So that was interesting. Some of these moves happened really quick. There's Diaby. Mallory went to the Rams, so we probably could have got Mallory with him if we'd have traded back. Fiocco from San Jose State went already, even though he was valued a lot farther down. So you see some of the moves that have been made here. We did lose out on some talent there, so maybe we should have took the Rams trade where they mortgaged the future. I'm going to have to live with that, unfortunately, but it happens sometimes. You got to take chances. You got to take players you believe in. So yeah, let's see. Frank says, Ant, how many of these picks will likely start within 2 years? I think the likelihood of some of these guys, making the roster is good. How many of them start depends on traits. I think when we're looking at the guys that we've gotten so far, there are guys that will start within 2 years. I'll go back and go over it in a second. People are already saying Allens and Owens. Wait on Blake Whitehart for JLE. Gray One says Yaya was a better pick. He could be. He really could be. Izzy says DJ will be a beast, great size and speed. Yeah, I think it's far as I think DJ Johnson is just farther along in his development. That's part of the reason I went with him. Yaya's a freak, but he's going to be a lot of development there. And probably one of these guys we get on the edge is going to be asked to contribute snaps this year, just with the way they brought in Cleveland Farrell, and they've brought in other guys, but they're going to need guys off the edge. And I think they are looking for speed opposite of Bosa, and then that way they can absolutely collapse the pocket. So I think you're right. And Logan, we did get an edge rusher. We just got one right now, so I'll go back to the mock draft and we can we can talk about it here. I'll go over our picks, and then I'll go over to what Frank was saying as well. So we got right now DJ Johnson, edge out of Oregon. He's a speed guy. He's going to be able to give us a lot of effort off. But we started the draft off. There wasn't a lot of edges that we really wanted there. Chris Smith was available. It was too much value. Took the safety out of Georgia. DJ Turner, the cornerback out of Michigan. Do we need a corner? No. Was it too much value? Yes. Wanya Morris we wanted to make sure we got an offensive tackle, and he was the best one available from that pick at 102. He was kind of valued at 125, and the next possible guy was way farther down. So it was a huge drop off in that area. With us not having a 4th round pick to get Wanya Morris, we selected him there. Carl Brooks was available in the 5th round. Too good a value, had to get him. He's a defensive lineman that has the ability, like Armstead, to play outside and inside. Jonathan Mingo, explosive wide receiver with big physicality, and then DJ Johnson, the edge guy. So Johnson would get significant snaps probably in year 1. Mingo would definitely have to work in, but you're talking a year or two from now, he would be asked to play a significant role with probably Jawan Jennings moving on. You're going to have what you're going to have is probably Jennings moving on and Ray McCloud. You're going to have to fill those snaps. I think Mingo's a guy that can do that, being a good blocker with the big body, but also more speed than Jawan Jennings to be able to create more separation. Carl Brooks would be a part of the rotation immediately. I think him and Kalia Davis within 2 years would be impactful on the interior, and they would also be cheap. Wanya Morris could figure into working against Colton McKivitz and let the best player win, but he could be an instant upgrade over Jalen Moore. And then DJ Turner, you throw him into an already congested cornerback room, but with that extreme speed, got the ability to do a lot of different things and plays with great physicality. And then Smith, we know we probably are 1 year away from needing another safety, and this guy could play opposite of Talanoa Hufanga, and that's part of the reason we went that direction. So just a little small breakdown, of why we went with those guys. I know it's always hard because we get guys that we really like, and you can't always get them, and I think the 49ers do that as well. Oh, no worry, Logan. No worries at all. I mean, it's hard. We wanted to get an edge guy earlier for sure, and there's just no one available. Logan says, me personally, I'd have more edge rusher drafts this year, mainly because I believe our secondary is solid enough. Yeah, it just the way the board fell. If there would have been edge rushers available in the 3rd round, I would be willing to double up on edge rushers. But when I got there wasn't the value there that, Isaiah McGuire didn't go until, later on. So we just kind of went with another guy. So that's kind of how it was. The Army defensive end went way early. He went at the beginning of the 3rd round, so he wasn't available. And so that's part of the reason. Logan says maybe one corner in the 5th do the draft being a deep at corner. Yeah, it was value again. So I understand, once again, it's not like cornerback's a need. But when you get to a pick in the 3rd round and there's a guy that you see that has potential to be, an into the 2nd round talent, you go ahead and you make those guys. So to me, you just have to. And that's what happened here. There was just an opportunity, had to go ahead and do it and make sure you get the pick. So now we're sitting here, we're on the clock at pick 216. So we're here at the end of the 6th round with the comp picks, and we haven't really addressed tight end. I think that's a place we could address. We could see what edge rushers are left. You got Brenton Cox, so we could definitely double up. We got Thomas and Coombe, who I like. Tavis Robinson's got a lot of ability coming off the edge as well. To me, those guys would be guys you could take chances on. Earlier, when I didn't think we were going to get Brooks, I started thinking about other guys we could get along the defensive line. And that was when I was thinking about DeJuan Johnson out of Toledo. I like him a lot. If he's available in the 7th round, I'd probably really be interested in taking him. So we do need to address tight end. The best tight ends available are Davis Allen, Braden Willis. Those guys I like, and then Blake Whiteheart, who's one of the guys I really like a lot. We could wait and get him later, so we could get a more talented player right now, if that's what everyone wants. We don't really need Ryan Hayes, but he's a tackle prospect that I like. We see the quarterback after the comments today. I don't think they're going to do that. Terrell Smith is a player the 49ers met with, but we already went with a cornerback. Will we, double up on corner? I mean, at this point, right, you're just trying to get really, really good value. Yasir Abdullah, we could get a guy that could compete at the linebacker position. Trey Dean is one of my favorite safeties. And I know we went safety already, but at this point in the draft, you can take chances. But I think I would either go edge rush, because we still need to address edge rush, which Isaiah Land is a freak athlete. So, I mean, if you want freak athletes, this is kind of that time to take a chance and get those guys. And Isaiah Land, with the size and speed, talking about a guy who's 6'6" and runs a 4.5 40. Might be, I mean, yeah, is he slight? He's 236 pounds. But you're talking about a project. He might be somebody the 49ers end up taking an opportunity on. So to me, all those guys make a lot of sense for the 49ers. And I'd be willing to go with any of them. So I'm kind of curious what you all have to say about, who the 49ers should go with right here at this category. It's kind of one of those things where we go freak of nature athlete. Zach Francisco says, long as you draft Jake Moody, it'll be right with me. I don't think they're going to, I don't know, maybe they will draft him. Logan says, regarding safety, I like Christopher Smith, Jamie Robinson, Jair Brown, or Sidney Brown. Yeah, Christopher Smith is who we got. Jamie Robinson was off the board. Jair Brown was available. Sidney Brown was drafted as well. What about quarterbacks? I don't know if you saw, Paul, the comments from Kyle Shanahan when they asked him about drafting a quarterback. He said that if a quarterback wouldn't make the roster. So he said they're always looking at guys to be able to draft. But to me, it sounded like they were going to go undrafted free agent, a guy that could come in, take snaps, because he said a fourth quarterback would not take snaps in training camp. So they're going to take a guy. He'll be there until Brock Purdy's available, and then they probably put him on the practice squad. So to me, it felt like it needed to be a late 7 quarterback or an undrafted free agent quarterback after hearing what Kyle Shanahan had to say. Frank says this draft feels like acquiring seeds. These 3 to 5 round picks could be essential foundational players for the next 5 to 7 years or not. Go Adam Peters. Yeah, I'm with you. Also, Logan says I would have gotten a tight end early, Cameron Latou, or that Michigan tight end. Yeah, the Michigan tight end was gone. The Cameron Latou was available. He just went earlier when we took another chance. So yeah, we did miss out on a tight end. That was something that I definitely would have liked to do. So it just didn't work out. But sometimes that happens, and I think that you just got to kind of roll with the punches and just get who's available. Sometimes you get value. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna kind of start going after guys that I feel are gonna that have like elite traits. So I like Thomas Incoom a lot. I think he's a guy that's a dog that comes in and competes. I think he's a big time player. I like him a lot, and I would normally go Thomas Incoom because I like his bend around the outside. He's a little bit shorter and stuff like that, so I kind of like him in this spot, Thomas Incoom. But I am thinking Isaiah Land has so much ability off the edge with the speed and the size. Speed and size is fantastic, but I'm gonna go Thomas Incoom. I like him. I like his traits. I want to add to the edge rushers. So here we go with Incoom. They're at 216, and now we'll see what happens here. We got a trade offer. Not really willing to take a lot of 7th round picks. So here we are. Let's see which tight ends are available. We still got Blake Whiteheart, Braden Willis. There's still some tight ends here that we could go with. I mean, we got Noah Gindorf as well from North Dakota State. I think he's got some ability as well. I am higher on Blake than on him. As far as edge goes, we've addressed that a little bit. Running backs, there are some running backs available, but I'm not a huge fan on taking a running back in this draft. There's still wide receiver talent as well. Guys that can make a play, and guys the 49ers have met with. Demario Douglas from Liberty is explosive and exciting. He's somebody that I like in this draft. So a Nico Remigio as well from Fresno State. I like him as well. So we've got about 4 picks left. And I think we've, kind of addressed most of the needs. Ryan Hayes is still one of the guys that I really like as far as an offensive tackle. And we could go that route. But right now, it's probably about just getting freaky, talented players. What does everyone think? Just go after the most freaky-ish, talented, athletic players, and just kind of let it play out. Let's see what you guys say. Trust your gut, Ant. Isaiah Land could be special. I just logged on late. Did Clayton Tune get drafted yet? He might be a good late draft pick at quarterback. What do you think? I just don't think they're gonna go there. Jay Ellie says top tight end. That's a good possibility there with a tight end. And Big Papa says Paul says just trust your gut, and okay, I'm gonna trust myself a little bit right now and just go with some of the guys that I really like, that I think have huge upside. So let's just go through this thing and see what's up. I like Ryan Hayes a lot. I like Isaiah Land. I think that Ryan Hayes is a good player, but we have an abundance of guys. I think at tight end, we could definitely take a couple of them still. I do like a couple of these guys. I think I'm gonna take Braden Willis here, the tight end, and then I'm gonna see what happens after that. I want to make sure I get a good tight end, and I like Braden Willis overall. We'll see how this thing goes, and then we're just gonna take some freaky athletes. I don't care what position they are, if they're a wide receiver, safety, whatever it is. I want to get guys that I feel like can make an impact. We see Blake Whiteheart is still there at the tight end position. So Clayton Tune is there. This is where Clayton Tune would make sense. We see Trey Dean. We know that I like him as a backup safety. I could get him for a special teams guy. We got a couple of picks left that we need to make. So Jake Moody is there. People are gonna want Jake Moody. There's just some guys. There's Tavis Robinson. He's freaky. There, Gervais Owens, the safety. Demario Douglas, I like a lot. Those guys are available. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, let me check out outside linebacker real quick. See, Abdul is still there. There's Marte Mapu. He's available. I like them. All right, here we go. We're going. I know where we're going. I can't help myself. I got to get a freaky athlete. I'm going with DeJuan Johnson, defensive tackle at Toledo. The 49ers met with him. Dude's got freaky ability. He's a developmental guy, a guy that they could work in a couple of years. You could put him on the practice squad, but I think he's got that, those Kevin Givens type factors. Even though he's a little bit slighter than him, he could put on more muscle on his frame. DeJuan Johnson is where I'm going as far as athletic ability. I like him. And then I'm gonna double up at some positions. I'm gonna take Trey Dean. He's the star player for me. I know a lot of people like Gervais Owens, which I'm great. But Trey Dean came into college playing cornerback. He's 6'3". He's over 200 pounds. He flies around like a missile. So I'm gonna take Trey Dean next. I like him a lot, and I'm gonna go that route. And we have 1 pick left, I believe. So we're just gonna look for the best player and see who that is. We could go a quarterback like Duggan. He's available still. But I mean, I think they could get someone. We could go Jake Moody and have him come in and compete. But there's got to be a guy, right? I think we can go with somebody that's explosive. And I think we could also go tight end. Let me see who the other tight ends are. I think I'm going to shock everyone here. I'm going to draft the tight end. Blake Whitehart's here. I like Blake Whiteheart. I think I'm gonna get Blake Whiteheart. I think I'm gonna draft. Maybe not. Talking myself out of it because I have a couple wide receivers that I really like. I like Demario Douglas. I think he could be eventual replacement for Ray McLeod. So Demario Douglas is the pick. And there you go. So the draft is complete. Let me save it so everyone can see what we did. We did not do any trades. So here we go. Here's the draft overall. Chris Smith, safety, Georgia, DJ Turner, Michigan, cornerback, Wanya Morris, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma, Carl Brooks, defensive lineman out of Bowling Green, Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver from Mississippi, DJ Johnson, edge from Oregon, Thomas Incoom, edge from Central Michigan, Braden Willis, tight end from Oklahoma, DeJuan Johnson, defensive lineman out of Toledo, Trey Dean, safety out of Florida, and then Demario Douglas, wide receiver out of Liberty. And kind of with the last few picks right here, I went with guys I believe can make an impact, but we could also stash on our practice squad if needed. So that way they could impact the team at a later date. We are going to have question marks at safety. Trey Dean has the ability to play in the nickel as he was a corner before. DeJuan Johnson's an absolute penetrator. You could have make an impact. He could be on the practice squad, and if someone got hurt, he could rotate in. Demario Douglas could spend a year on the practice squad and then come up and be that shifty nickel corner or nickel receiver that you need, or slot receiver you need to make an impact if Ray McCloud leaves, which I believe that's why the 49ers met with him. They're trying to make sure they get guys they can count on. So to me, that's the group. I like it a lot, actually. I mean, was it a perfect one? No, I'd like to get edge a little bit earlier, but with no one really being available on the edge, that was an impact player right here. The closest was Isaiah McGuire. And to me, that wasn't a huge value with those first three picks. If this Carl Brooks wouldn't have been available here, that would have been the place to go with Isaiah McGuire. But to me, I think we did pretty good. I would have loved to have gotten a little bit better with the edge rush position. The board didn't unfold that way that we wanted it to go. But I thought overall we got some very impactful players that can, help this team. And I think that's the key to the draft, and the 49ers are probably going to have to do a little bit more. A lot of people wanted to go with Moody, the kicker, because he was still on the board at that point. You could let it roll and sign him as an undrafted free agent. So I did not go with Moody. Yeah, I think he was right. Moody had the best chance to make the team with the last pick. I just wanted to go with some freaky ability at the end, and I think that Demario Douglas adds that. WTM says, what's the odds we don't draft an edge rusher in the third round? I think if the board presents itself the way that it did here, then it's probably pretty good, because the Isaiah McGuire was the best ranked edge rusher at the time, and I thought that there was value there, but maybe not as much value as later. And in turn, he was available in the fifth round. So to me, if there's a guys, and I think there will be guys available, I mean, there's just too many really, really, talented edge rushers in this draft. So I think there will be an edge rusher there. I don't think they're all going to go that high, but in this particular mock draft, they did. And because of that, you had to go with the other guys that were, more talented or talented at that spot. And that's what we ended up doing, but I do think some of these guys are going to fall. I think that Zach Harrison could be available there at the end of the third round when the 49ers pick. And that's who I would have locked up. If Zach Harrison would have been available with any one of those picks, I would have jumped on it. He's a guy I really like. Derek Hall out of Auburn, I would have been willing to go there. For sure, that made a lot of sense. And then later on, it was Isaiah McGuire and guys like that. So there is a little bit of a drop in the defense in the edge rushers. You're right. If you don't get them in the third round, you might not get them. And Daryl, what's up, Daryl? With the super chat says we need to look at Stephen Pierre at linebacker. Okay, I'll take a look at him and see how it goes. And Donald says that mock was a good one. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I had fun doing it. The mock was really fun going through the picks. Did it work out exactly the way we wanted? No. I think, anytime you go through drafts like that, it's not going to be perfect. And that's why I kind of like doing it, because sometimes players slip and, it changes up your board. You might have some of these guys higher than you would like. And so, I mean, this is a far cry from my Mock Draft 1.0. If you guys want to check out Mock Draft 1.0, it's available for all channel members and for patrons on Patreon. You guys can go check that out. And it was different. And I did go edge early, and I went edge often. And so it was different. I really built it in the trenches. But players like this weren't available at the time. So we did go cornerback in that draft as well. But it was because, once again, a player slipped. And with it being so deep at corner, sometimes you just have to make those moves. But yeah, this one was a really, really good. And Ford Call says too many teams will be hoping to get Moody as an undrafted free agent. We can't wait, in my opinion. but that only my only disagreement with the mock. And that's a fair point. I mean, that's a fair point. And that was the reason the 49ers drafted Brock Purdy last year. So you're right. If it gets to the 7th round, I think Moody would make a lot of sense in the 7th round. I didn't go that way, but you're right. I probably should have. I also, didn't get, everyone that I wanted in this mock. I mean, even though it was a pretty solid mock overall, I didn't get everyone that I wanted in the mock. And I think that's something that, you're just not going to be able to get all the players that you want. You're hoping you can. But I was excited that I did get, Braden Willis, the tight end, but I didn't get Blake Whiteheart. And I wanted to get Whiteheart, but I chose Demario Douglas, hoping I could sign Blake Whiteheart on the, undrafted free agent market. But overall, I thought picking 11 times, we made 11 good selections with guys that could impact the roster. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do. So it was fun, though. I had a lot of fun doing it. Thanks, everyone, for all your comments. You guys did a great job, getting the names out there. You guys are so interested in everything. And Paul says, I'm interested to see who Samuel Womack or the unknown player will be this year. It's going to be somebody. And I've started finding some guys. I can't wait to do draft gym videos because I found some guys. There was one of the tight ends I almost drafted just because I think he's a gem that's flying under the radar. Sometimes you have to make sure they're even being drafted because no one talks about him. Frank says the top of this draft seems thin. Better to have mid-round meat, rebuild, load parts for 2024, 2025. I think that's a fair comparison. I think when you get to the end of the 3rd round where the 49ers have 3 picks, there's some value there. I think where it gets interesting is that 4th round. It feels like the 4th round is kind of an interesting part of the draft where the positions the 49ers want to get is not as not as open right now. But then the 5th round is where you start getting a lot of that value, and that's where the 49ers strike, very intensely. I would not be shocked to see the 49ers trade back, with one of those 3 picks in the 3rd round, move into the 4th round and potentially pick up another pick, either, in day 3 or the next year. But that didn't provide itself the way I wanted to in this draft. But we'll see. And Frank says Talanoa was a 5th. Yeah. Exactly. Talanoa was a 5th, and he did a really good job. And I like Talanoa Hufanga a lot. That dude's a beast, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the future. He's an all-pro caliber guy, and I absolutely love it. But this was a fun mock draft, guys. Thank you guys for checking out Mock Draft 2.0. Looking forward to doing more. Working currently on getting my Edge Rush video together so I can do that. I'm really, really excited to get everyone, input on that as well. And Luke the Don says, great mock, Ant. How many spaces will we have for undrafted free agents if we don't make any more moves after or before the draft? Well, as of right now, we're sitting, I believe, at 63 players under contract. So if you had 11 draft picks, that would make 74, which means you would have 16 undrafted free agents. Last year, the 49ers signed 14. So my guess is we'll probably see a couple more under the radar signings like they did last year. Probably still draft, 11 to 13 players, depending on how it goes, just because they need those roster spots. But after the draft, even, you can fill out the 90-man roster. Last year, they signed Jason Verrett after the draft. But I think there's potential to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of openings right now on the San Francisco 49ers roster. And so, 27 openings right now. It's going to be interesting. But I'm going to check out right now. Thanks, everyone, for watching. You guys are all the best. Fantastic. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next time when we all get together and talk draft. But until then, stay safe and remember the right way is always the 49ers.